CTV's Heather Wright is standing by for us in Herzliya, Israel, with more on that looming ground attack. Heather, what's going on where you are this hour? It sounds noisy.
Well, we are actually near a military base, but we spent most of the day today in Haifa, Israel. That's to the north, where we were interviewing people at an underground garage that's been converted into a hospital with 2,000 beds. Now, this has been activated because of concerns in the north. Israeli troops and troops with Hezbollah in southern Lebanon, they have been exchanging fire and things have been escalating along Israel's northern border. And so this hospital was activated in the event that there are rocket attacks to major cities like Haifa. We then went a little bit closer to the border with Lebanon, and you could really see the buildup of troops up there. A number of reservists that have been called in, activated when Israel declared this war against Hamas. And they're also positioning themselves up there in case Hezbollah tries to enter the fray. Now, Hezbollah is the militant group that dominates southern Lebanon. They are backed by Iran. And there are concerns that this could become not only a two-front war, but that it could spread throughout the entire region. That, of course, is something that many parties are trying to avoid, and part of that is putting troops up at the border to ensure that they know, that Hezbollah knows that it is fortified. They've also evacuated some of the border towns as well, those small communities right along the Lebanese border, as they get ready for what might happen in the days to come.
Now, Hezbollah has said, though, there will not be any incursions into Israel, but they have been firing at bases along the Israeli border, though.
That's right. For now, that is the position that Hezbollah is taking. But Hezbollah has firepower and rockets and missiles that are far more accurate than the ones that Hamas has. And so these rockets, they can make their way all the way to southern Israel. They're much more precise. And so there is a concern as well that they could start using those rockets and firing more and more into the north of Israel. And so that's a concern right now as it stands in the north. As we know, things in the south near the border with Gaza, they are ramping up as well as Israel prepares for a ground invasion. We're still not clear when exactly that's going to happen. We'll know once it happens. But there are a number of things that are trying to happen in the meantime, and that is getting people from the north of Gaza to the south and trying to open that Rafah border crossing into Egypt, which failed for another day. There was hope it was going to open early this morning, local time, to get foreigners, including a number of Canadians, out of Gaza. It failed for the third time, and so it remains to be seen when it might reopen. Diplomatic efforts happening behind the scenes, trying to get that border crossing open for foreigners to get out and for much needed aid and supplies to get into Gaza, which has been under a complete siege for days now.
And the situation must be becoming tenuous there, because what are the numbers we're hearing? 500,000 residents from Gaza have moved down to the south now?
Yes, it's just completely heartbreaking what is happening to innocent Palestinians in Gaza. And, it's so important to make that distinction, because it is Hamas who controls the Gaza Strip, but there are 2 million people who live there, half the population under the age of 18. They have been told for days now by the Israeli government to move south while they still can, where it will be safer than in the north. And so people have been trying to heed those warnings, trying to get out of the north. It's very challenging. There's not a lot of places to go. The infrastructure is badly damaged. They are without food, water, electricity. People are injured. But the death toll continues to climb in Gaza. It is nearing the 3,000 mark. And, everyone is really saying that it's going to get much worse in Gaza before it gets better, especially once that ground invasion happens. And there really are very few good options in terms of where people can go. For now, though, Israel is saying head south. It is going to be safer there as they prepare to go in and try to target, positions by Hamas. And what the Israeli government has said is really try to get rid of Hamas altogether.
Have we heard any numbers of the Israeli soldiers that are on the border with Gaza there? I mean, they've called up, I believe, 300,000 reservists. Have we heard any numbers about how many are actually on the border?
No, and I doubt that they would give specific numbers along with specific positioning, but there are, likely hundreds of thousands of troops down there, but they are positioned across the country. I mean, we saw a lot of them today in the north. They're also using reservists. We've been down in some of the kibbutzes in the south as well, where you can see the reservists that have been called back. And these are young, people in their teens, in their early 20s. And these are among the troops that are living in the south right now, getting ready for whatever role they might play in this ground invasion. So it's not clear exactly how many troops are down there, but they have been doing drills over the past few days. They have, scenarios set up, villages that resemble what they might face once they get into Gaza. Because remember, this is a densely populated area. There are, thoughts that this is going to be a door-to-door, street-by-street effort to try to regain and root out Hamas, many of whom are hiding in underground tunnels. They're hiding in bunkers. And don't forget, they have nearly 200 hostages, a new number confirmed by Israel today, that hostage number that they believe were taken last Saturday from Israel into Gaza is 199. We had previously been told it was 150. They have new evidence and intelligence that indicates that at least 199 people were taken into Gaza. And so that is top of mind for Israeli officials as well when they go in to try to make sure they can do whatever they can to rescue those hostages before continuing that ground invasion.
CTV's Heather Wright, thank you very much for that update.
Thanks.